Hello guys, welcome back to Gemini Gamers. Today we're going to be doing another KSP mod review, but first I want to remind you that we still have that goal of 100 subscribers before the end of the year, so please help us out with that. It's a very big goal for a small YouTuber channel, I guess, to reach 100 subscribers, in their first little big giant push that we made for it. And, we want to do it before the end of the year. Basically just a little goal. I wouldn't be disappointed if we don't hit it, but I would appreciate your help if you were to subscribe, if you like the mod reviews I've been making and the other content I've been doing. So make sure to do that if you want to help us out a little bit. So anyway, let's get going with the mod review. So today we're going to be reviewing the mod called Tantares. Basically a Soviet-Russian space program mod that adds all the spacecraft from the real space program into Kerbal and makes the parts look Stockalike and stuff like that. So anyway, the mod is being created by Bale. That's B-E-A-L-E. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. I'm just gonna go with it, but I spelled it out just in case. So anyway, the mod is basically two mods. So there's the Tantares spacecraft, which includes the MIR, Soyuz, lander. I may be missing something there, but probably I am. But my Soviet space program history isn't the best. But I'm just gonna point out a couple big ones. So the MIR, the space station, the Soyuz, the main Russian spacecraft horsepower, I guess you could say. And the LK lander, which is basically the lander that never went to the moon. That was meant to go, but due to political issues, it never made it. And the other part of the mod is called the Tantares LV, and LV basically stands for launch vehicles. So which, basically rockets, big rockets, which includes the R7, the Proton, and the N1. And if you don't know what the N1 is, it's just basically the Soviet Saturn V, but I think actually a lot more engines. Yeah, a lot more engines. Oh, a couple times more engines. So, if you think the Saturn V had a lot of engines, you don't know how many a lot of engines is. So, anyway, I'll be using a couple of the crafts provided by the modder. I haven't built anything. I improved it a little bit because there was a couple glitchy things, but the crafts I'm using in the video are actually provided by the modder. Just to save a little bit of time and make the review a little bit better, just so I play with the way the modder wants me to play. So anyway, let's go ahead and go into the VAB here, and basically get this show on the road. So I'll be using the filter extension mod to basically make it a little bit simpler for me to review. But as you can see already, there's a lot of parts here. There's orange parts, there's propellant control block parts, airlock compartments. So this is a very big mod, which also means that sadly I won't be able to get too much into depth into the parts, but I'll try my best to get into the more bigger pieces here. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the manufacturer tab and click on Tantares. So as you can see, we have a bunch of parts here: airlock compartments, monopropellant tanks, crude blocks, little pointy crude blocks, structural parts, cargo bays here, very nice looking cargo bay, circular cargo bay that doesn't close all the way. Oh, okay, never mind. It does close all the way. You can basically put little space stations, little satellites there, and deploy them from your space stations. Engines, small engines and big engines also. Soyuz parts, which is also a really good reason why I'm reviewing the mod, but I'll go into it a little bit later. Solar panels, which we don't see much of these days in the game. Very nice looking solar panels, by the way. Like, I haven't seen anything deploy like that. Like, look at the animations. Look at it. Look how they deploy. Very cool looking things. Docking ports for the Soyuz. Ladders. Basically, like, this is a mod that includes everything you can need. It even includes antennas. I should deploy them correctly. I need to get one of the bigger parts here. Let's see if I can find a big part. Yeah, here we go. Little propellant thing here. If I could get it to work. It's not gonna want to. Oh well. Put it up here. There we go. So yeah. It's basically a fuel tank, and I think it's integrated with the engine. Yeah, it is. It's basically the Soyuz engine. You put the the Soyuz Capsule on top and the crew thing at the top, and basically, well, let me try to show you. Capsule goes in the middle in between these two, though. So, anyway, I'm gonna show you the whole thing built, but then I'm just going over the parts. But yeah, basically, it includes a bunch of stuff. Here's the Soyuz Capsule. There we go. Boop. And then this thing goes here. Very cool stuff. Little parachute in between, though. Be careful with that. Don't forget your parachutes. The OK lander. I'm not sure if that's the actual name of it. I'm just, I think that's the name of it. But that's the capsule for it. It's one man, I think. If it's accurate, yeah, it's just one man. Yeah, one Kerbal or cosmonaut. If you're that kind of guy. So, yeah, I mean, it includes little solid rocket boosters like these. Mounting structures or whatever. So basically the modder made this mod for you to actually be able to include it in your own game, and it's also surprising that a lot of people don't use it, and I like it. I like the mod. Very historical. It includes all the pieces you would need. I mean, RCS, look at the amount of RCS thrusters that are here. Like, think about it. The modder really went into a lot of trouble to build all these things, and they included MIR station parts. So basically all the Soviet space station missions that they did with the MIR, you could probably replicate with these. I mean, you get a little weird capsule. I don't know what this capsule is actually. This is a capsule. I know it's a capsule because basically it's a good capacitor. It might be the new Soviet capsules, or Russian. Sorry guys, I'm Cold War, Russian capsule they're working on. I'm not really up to date with it, but I'm an American, so I'm basically just more into my own little sphere of influence over here. But I'm able to appreciate all the cool stuff that they did too. I mean, they were kicking our butt for a while there, just space race and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, bunch of cool parts. I mean, I recommend you just installing it and looking over everything, because I can't physically go everything over. Like, I can't. I look at the amount of parts here. Like, I'll be here. This video will be like 20 minutes long. No, actually, that's actually kind of short. No, it'll be like an hour long. So, yeah. Structural parts, truss segments, long, bigger pieces. Basically, propellant tanks and stuff. It's just a very cool mod. I recommend you actually looking at it. Again, the link will be in the description if you don't know, but it's one of the best looking model parts out in the game, and it's very Stockalike, so you can combine it with your game, as I mentioned before, even with other mods, and it's all cool. And that's just half of the freaking mod. I still have the other segment to look over, and that's the Tantares LV, which is basically all the rocket parts, the real big rocket parts, the engines, the A2, probably the 2, I don't even know. Okay, I need to remove this. Oh no, okay, wait, okay, there you go. So basically all the engine parts, very nicely well textured, very Soviet looking textures, I guess. Engine tanks and stuff like that for your rockets. And I mean, if you're into the Soviet space program, this is a mod for you. And even not, if you're not, you should probably still look at it, because it's pretty cool. Some people complain in the forum. They complained about the parts being overpowered, but the modder stated that you want the parts to be useful for something in the game, and I understand why. I mean, in real life, the real R7 rocket could probably take you all the way to Elu if you included it in the game for whatever reason. You know what I mean? If you were to directly put it in with thrust to weight ratio, the specific impulse and all that stuff. So just being honest, and it makes the game a little bit more fun, because again, if you're doing career mode, you're not going to unlock all these parts at once. So it just makes everything a little more interesting. You get grid fins for some reason too. I don't know why. I don't know if there's an actual rocket that even uses these, but you get them. And so yeah, I mean, very cool stuff. A gigantic booster stage, and this isn't the biggest thing in the mod. I mean, it's probably one of the biggest, but not the biggest. So look at that, just a gigantic booster, a big booster. And let's see. As you can see, we have the N1 parts here, the staging parts. Third stage, think this is the second stage right here, and then the massive first stage, which with about like more than 30 engines. I'm sure it's more than 30. Can't see them right now, but let's see what are those engines in. Oh, interesting. Can't see the engines. That's surprising. Are they not? I'm a little confused actually. Where are the engines? Oh, here we go. They're a separate part. Sorry, I didn't realize they were a separate part. So yeah, look at that. Look at how many engines. All right, so just look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. It's amazing. It's the best. You know, it's a big rocket. You know, and in real life, it actually flew. If you didn't know, and it blew up, and you know, very predictable, I guess you could say. But you know, I mean, it's very cool stuff. Let's just say that. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually load one of the ships here. Don't save. I actually already played around with it a little bit just to practice a little bit. Basically, you have all again the modder provided all these craft pre-built, so I didn't build them. The modder did. I only did a little bit of an upgrade to one of them. I think this one. Yeah, because when I loaded it in, one of the parts were a little bit off. I think it's because the modder built it in an earlier you know, build of the game, so things were a little bit glitchy, but I managed to fix it a little bit and improve it a little bit. I'm not sure if this is historically accurate, but the Soyuz, I put the little solar panels on the Soyuz and actually a little bit more of an RCS ability for it to move around. I was having a little bit of trouble when the flight, but I'm gonna go ahead and do a launch with the N1 since it includes most of the parts in the game. I mean, not most of the parts in the mod, because there's just a massive amount of parts here and I can't really review them all, as I said before. But again, this is just going to be a little bit of the mod, but the purpose of this whole thing is just for me to show you a whole little bit, just a tiny bit, not all of it, just a little bit, and hopefully you get to enjoy what the mod is capable of doing, and I hope that you end up including in some of your modded careers if you haven't. Very cool stuff to be done with it. I mean, you know, you get a massive rocket, you know, bigger than I don't know why you wouldn't include it, but anyway. Soyuz Capsule is able to take up to 3 men. I only have 2 Kerbals here in the Space Center, so only 2 Kerbals will be in the capsule. But, you know, the crew capsules are very accurate, crew-wise, so don't worry about that. So let's go ahead and launch here. Thrust-to-weight ratio is very high, I will admit. Thrust-to-weight ratio is very high, but that's no big deal. So let's see if I can activate this thing here. Whatever. I don't need Kerbal Engineer. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, stages and stuff like that. The parts are textured very well. They're very Stockalike again, as I mentioned before. Particle effects are very nice. The modder also included custom engine noises for the rockets. I don't think I ever heard those before, but I think they are custom. So very cool stuff. Fairings too. I didn't even mention the fairings. These are added by the mod and the textures at least, and that's a very cool thing. You don't see many fairing mods out there because of some issues that the game was having with UV mapping and stuff like that. That will be fixed in the next update. I think in update 1.4 or with the Making History expansion update, but at some point it will be fixed. I'm pretty sure the developers have stated, and I know that because, you know, I've done a little bit of research and looked at the development news for my KSP News show, and the real reason I'm doing this mod review is because this mod is basically the future of Kerbal, kind of. I mean, part of it is. And if you didn't know, we're basically developing, well, not me, because I'm not working on the mod or the game, but, you know, the developers are working on actually adding the Soyuz Capsule to the game, along with other historical craft, with the Gemini Capsule and the Titan rocket and all that stuff. So very cool stuff. And the reason I am doing this is because this already adds the Soyuz Capsule to the game, and the R7, which is also going to be added to the game. And overall, I think that the textures for these look better than what the developers are showing us at this point. If you want to see those textures, go ahead and watch my Kerbal News show. I do it every Wednesday. So make sure you check out the channel, subscribe, and click on the little notification bell to get the notifications when I release these episodes. So, just to keep you informed, then I put the links of everything there, and I put the pictures of textures that the modders are allowing us to see every time they do an episode. So, yeah, very cool stuff. And, the Soyuz Capsule looks very, very nice. And the R7, which I'm probably not going to get to launch in this video because of the length. I'm trying to keep it down a little bit. I've done other mod reviews where they get a little bit too long, and I don't think that's a good thing for YouTube issues. You know how YouTube is and YouTube problems. But, basically, it's a very, very, very interesting thing to just basically try out first before you try out the actual... if you just want to see that stuff, try out this mod. I mean, the Soyuz Capsule is here, and it functions pretty much the way that the developers want it to function in the end product. Which also means that this mod is going to become a little bit less relevant. Maybe a little bit. Not really, because it does have other pieces like the MIR and the lander, the LK lander. But, in terms of using the Soyuz Capsule, it's going to be a little bit of obsolete. But I think that overall, though, the models for the N1 are still pretty nice. I don't think it's going to be added anytime soon for the Kerbal, but maybe at some point. But overall, I mean, it's basically just a look into the future here. A couple months once the Soyuz Capsule comes out, along with the R7 parts. I don't think the R7 parts are going to look as good as the ones in the mod, but I think overall, though, it's going to be pretty similar. So it's an experience that you can try out if you want. I think it's good to basically just go ahead and do what I'm doing right now and try it. I recommend the mod, really. I remember back in the day, back when Kerbal was like in the 0.23s, I remember using this mod early, and it was pretty cool. I loved it. I think 0.23. I'm not sure. Maybe whatever. I remember using it a long time ago. I've been playing the game for a long time. If you haven't realized this, but I've been playing for a long time, and basically just been playing, and I've been seeing a lot of mods just keep coming and going, and this one's been here for a while. I'm not sure if it changed developer or creator, but maybe it has, but I don't think it has. So yeah, and let's go ahead and look at the IVA of the Soyuz here. I don't think I have. Alright, I think I have actually, but yeah, I did. Yeah, I did look at it, but yeah, basically look at it. It's cramped, just like the real one, and due to one of the new features added to the game recently, we can actually get a good view of it. So the 8K lander actually has just a little seat with a little, probably a little the window there for you to see when you're about to land, and it's just a very nice little thing, part of space history to look into, because I think it probably would have worked if the N1 lander had been more, and N1 rocket would have been more successful at doing its part of the mission, which it did blow up a couple times, but I think if they would have been able to launch it a couple more times, it would have been good to go. But, things didn't go that well for the Russians at that point. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a good look at the Soyuz capsule here. Let's go ahead and let's see if we can decouple this thing here. Yeah, we can decouple it. Boom. RCS. Do a little forward thrust here. Are these even working? Oh, they don't have any. Okay, cool. So basically, as you can see, the engine block has its own RCS thrusters, and you can activate the engine, and it also has this little engine there. So very cool, nice particles actually. They're superior to the ones found in the games, and that's very, very cool, because the game needs a little bit of a graphical update, if you ask me, which is something the developers should be working on, but they're not. But it's just the way life is, I guess. So anyway, let's target the N1 ship over there, because that's the name of it now. So let's take a look at a couple of the parts here. So we got antennas and stuff like here. So stand, solar panels, as you can see over here too. Very cool stuff. You have a docking port that has a little probe, so you can probe with your Soyuz capsule now if you need to probe something. I don't know why you would want to probe, but maybe your MIR or whatever. I don't know. Other antenna. Very cool stuff, man. Like, I mean, what else can you ask for? Like, honestly, if you want a Soviet mod for your game, I mean, you can just basically do this. This is it. This is the place you need to come. So Tantares is basically the best place, and the ship's already pre-built, but you don't have to play with them. You can make your own if you want to. I mean, they're very modular, as a modder stated before. Like I think he mentioned something about the parts being like Legos and stuff like that. So, you know, I mean, overall, it's a very well balanced mod. I mean, for the game, at least. You can make the very big space stations. You can integrate it with your own. If you already have a stock game, you can go ahead and integrate it. It's very well. You know, it runs very well. It doesn't cause a lot of glitches like most other mods do. Some mods that add too many features end up causing the game to crash a little bit too much. Let's see if we can dock here. Can we dock? Is it possible? Or is it not? We should be locked. Maybe it's because we extended that little probe. We should probably retract it. There we go, yeah. The probe was breaking things. Anyway, so, yeah, we docked in again. Let's go ahead and do a couple of these things. So, anyway, if we were going to do a moon mission, basically this would be it, right? I also think the actual moon mission would have been 2 cosmonauts instead of 3, like the more modern Soyuz, because I remember the old Soyuz could only carry 2 people. But, you know, due to, again, budget cuts, they had to cramp more people in there and do things more. But, yeah, I mean, one of them would have stayed up here. Basically, if everything went well, both of them would have came back together. But if not, if, you know, the poor guy that went down to the moon died or crashed or whatever, this poor guy would have been the lonely survivor, I guess. And, you know, due to the Soviet control of the information, they would have been like, oh, we've successfully completed a single-manned orbital flight of the moon and stuff like that, even though the poor little cosmonaut got killed on the moon and stuff, you know, because he would have probably died. But anyway, let's go ahead and do a little EVA. As you can see, we're at the point where we actually EVA out of. Boom. Very cool stuff here. And just got a good view of it. Look at that. Very nice mod. Very nice mod. I think you should try it out if you haven't done so before. If you want me to do a little more playing around with this thing, like maybe you want me to do a moon mission at some point, I can do it for you guys. I could totally fly this thing. Like, it flies really nice. I could totally fly it to the moon and land it if you wanted me to. Maybe make a base with it. I don't know. Up to you guys. Leave a comment down below. Leave any suggestions on how to make these mod reviews a little bit better. Hopefully we get a lot of attention, because I think this mod deserves the attention a little more. So yeah, that's pretty much it. There's a lot more content related to the mod, especially with the amount of parts, but I can't go over it due to the time constraints of YouTube. And, you know, I don't want to upload a 1-hour video, because that takes a long time to edit and stuff like that. And, you know, also, I don't think the YouTube likes it when I upload big parts. So, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. If you want me to do a specific review of any other mods, please leave a comment down below. I'll look into them and see if they haven't been reviewed or anything like that. Or if you really want me to do it, just leave a very nice comment down below, and I'll look into it. And also leave a like, help support the channel, again, by helping us reach that 100 subscriber mark before the end of the year. And yeah, I think this is pretty much it for the Tantares mod. I just wanted to show you one more thing. The inside view of the lander. I don't think I showed it to you guys. Again, not very developed, but, you know, very nice and cool thing. How you would have done the landing. You'd have been looking through this window, controlling it through that little knob over there, and basically cool stuff. So yeah, guys, again, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Goodbye.